falls in life. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are in our faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are in our faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe. Oh,
welcome to ReneMarie Stroke a Lot, the second show. Thank you so much for joining us today. We had a really good show, the first one with Andrea and Chris and Judy, of course. It was really enlightening to put yourself in the place where someone is suffering from something in the hospital, and then they have to, come home and they have to fix the home stage, their homes for someone that suffered a stroke. It's pretty challenging to think that your home has to be remodeled. So Andrea and Chris, who Andrea's a home stager and Chris is a real estate agent, and we were talking about like things that you can do to simplify the lives of people. To move things around to support those families. So it was really a good show, but this show is very special too, because of course we're going to begin it the same way we did the first one. Jim, are you on?
I am on.
Can they see you though?
They can see me. They can see me.
To be on the screen.
I'm here.
Yay! Jim, Judy, Ginny, Alicia. Oh my God. Woo! Let's clap for our telethon, right?
Good show. Can
you believe it? I mean, I think I'm going to be flying high about the telethon for a long time. I mean, we just think about it. We were like, of course we had to cancel the May one.
Yep.
And we had to reschedule it. And it was like, we're like everybody else in the world. We had to think about what were we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to pull this off? How are we going to pull it off? And with you, Judy and Alicia and Ginny and you, Jim, and the whole team and Michelangelo, and there you have the productions and the whole board and the whole team, we accomplished an 8-hour, how many minutes, Jim?
4 minutes. 8 hours and 4 minutes.
4-minute telethon without a glitch.
We gave Jerry Lewis a run for his money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny you should mention that because, Ginny, I know I'm pulling this off the cuff, but we have 2 new board members, and we were talking about how we were going to implement Catherine into the telethon, right? Yes. And we're probably thinking about doing the same thing that Jerry Lewis did, right? He had New York and Atlantic City and Vegas. Yep. So we'll have a connection in Connecticut, and we'll broadcast her in oh my God, the next telethon is going to be better than this one. Right?
And the date of it is next May 4th, I believe.
4th. Yeah, May 4th.
We'll see.
Just around the corner. We better get started.
The same way we did it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, it's incredible. So I just had to revel a little bit. So thank you for joining me, team. Judy, Ginny, Alicia. It's always a pleasure to just spend time with you. Thank you, Jim. So we're going to talk today about really important topics. First of all, Ginny is Ginny is going to talk about World Stroke Day. Judy, you had an order that it was going to happen in. Do you know the order?
Yes. I thought Ginny would start out because she's going to talk about stroke. And what was the title again, Ginny?
World Stroke Day.
World Stroke Day.
World Stroke Day. And then I was going to talk about Suffolk County's mobile units for people who have strokes, how they can get help immediately. And then Alicia would be talking about the new home that the Good Samaritan Hospital has for stroke, aphasia, brain aneurysm people, and our wonderful relationship with Dr. Beckleyus and Jason Wallen.
Oh my God. It's amazing. And
we'll be talking about the rehab, what's about that whole area once the person gets to the hospital.
Yeah. And I actually have been writing notes on the Google Drive. I've been writing like my thoughts for our board meeting we're having on the second Thursday of November. And one of the things is to really start to set in motion what we talked to Dr. Beckleyus and Jason about, having a team of stroke survivors there to support teams support families when their family member has all of a sudden suffered a stroke. I really think, and now we could do it so simply, virtually. Yes. I mean, you can't be there in person, but you can certainly put a face to something and say, listen, there's a team that wants to support you, to let you know that there is hope. And then one of us can come on the camera and just share with them, a face to a name, just put a face to a name so that we could bring hope to them. So we are going to start implementing that. I mean, it's a big project. I don't know who on the board is going to work with me, but we're going, Ginny, I don't know, you're a telephone. It's too intense, too intense. And Alicia works on the support groups with me and the Spanish thing. And Judy, you work on the shows. So we gotta make it work, but I really want to start to get that going, because I think if we have it set in place, I really believe that Dr. Beckleyus would just fly with it. He just doesn't have the time to work on that, but that's what we need to do. We need to come up with something, and make it work. We make it work. And I know with hospitals, you have to be careful of what you say to people. So we probably have to sign something with them and all that kind of stuff. So, but I really do want to make it work, because I really believe that it's just something that's important. And then with Nancy, we're going to start working on that project. I don't know if everybody remembers. I don't want to say it online. For when people go into the hospital, that little package we want to create for them. We'll share.
Yes.
So that we really want to start to implement them. So it's important stuff. So World Stroke Day is on October 29th. And Ginny, why don't you share a little bit about World Stroke Day? And so let you take the lead.
Okay. With your indulgence, before I jump into that, I ran across a strange statistic on watching television yesterday. October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And there was someone on talking about pets. If you have a female dog that is not spayed, she has a 50% higher risk of getting cancer in her mammary glands. And if you have a female cat, it's 85%.
Wow.
If they're not.
Wow.
So spaying female cats and dogs can make a big difference in the length of their life. And I'm sorry, I just had to bring that in because I was astounded by the facts.
And honestly, my God, pets are such an important part of our family.
Yeah, they are. They're family members.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so World Stroke Day. Up until yesterday, I did not know that there was a World Stroke Day or that it was October 29th, but I did a deep dive into Google and found some interesting information. 1 in 4 adults worldwide during their life will suffer a stroke of some sort. They can happen anytime, any place, as we all know. It can be while you're asleep. It can be while you're traveling. It can be while you're out on a softball field. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Some of the things that make you more susceptible to a stroke can be inherited. They can, and I'm sorry, I have to put my glasses on because the type on this is really small. If you have age, race, gender, and a family history, it can make you more susceptible to strokes. But there are a lot of things that you can do to help prevent it if you know those things are in the works. You can monitor your blood pressure, get your cholesterol checked, keep your blood sugar down, stay active, eat a better diet, don't smoke ever, period. And if your doctor recommends taking a medication such as aspirin or something, don't take it on your own, but you can also follow those directives.
And can I punch in a little bit?
Yeah.
And they can also research like holistic measures.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
There are ways, like Josh was on our show that has this green diet, the plant herb diet.
Mm-hmm.
That really is another tool in your pocket. It doesn't mean that that's the direction that's going to prevent you from having a stroke, but there are a whole bunch of different holistic areas, and acupuncture is one as well. I just saw it on this this promo that I put on our promo from Dr. Mike. He got notarized for something, and on that page was about acupuncture. So it is streaming into the United States a lot more. So
as treatment, but also possibly as a preventative, if you know that you have a certain family condition. I had something that I was maybe born with. It wasn't on anybody's scope. And, it just, sometimes it happens and you just don't even know where it comes from. So one of the things if you Google World Stroke Day 2020, you will get a drop down with a lot of different links and information. Their website is very informative, and they do bring up FAST, F-A-S-T, but we know that that's now been enlarged to Be Fast, which is balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, and time. And we know that time is critical if you're having a stroke. If you have a stroke, you get the shot, to get the treatment that you need.
Wait, I always like to add something to the Be Fast. Sure. And maybe we'll have to add it into the Be Fast. When you call 911 to let them know that it could be a stroke.
It could be.
Because the ambulance and hospital, they'll come and they'll be aware. They'll go right into stroke mode. And when you get to the hospital, you will not have to wait at triage. You will pass triage, go right in for the CAT scan. I really think that's so important in letting people know.
Question, and I don't know if any of you would have the answer to this. I live very close to a hospital, to a good hospital where I would probably go if I had a stroke. And rather than call and wait for an ambulance, if my husband knew and was going to take me in, is there a way for us to call ahead to the hospital to alert them that there's a stroke victim coming in? And this is something maybe we can.
I think it's a great idea to do that.
If the hospital would have a hotline or of some sort, because if you call a hospital switchboard, you could.
I don't know if they have a hotline.
But it's just something we might ask when we have someone from one of the hospitals, or Dr. Beculus, or someone that
Are your doctor? What's your doctor's name?
Dr. Libman.
Liman. I mean, having been on not a board, as an ambassador for one of the hospitals, I know that it's always best to go in through an ambulance.
Yes,
because they have the direct line. There's there's just a stream of an operation that they go into.
Yes.
Absolutely positively know that. I think because they start the procedures as soon as they're there, like they start it. So I know that we live close to hospitals, but other people that live out an hour, 3 hours.
Absolutely.
I think that would be when you should
call the ambulance. Yeah.
But no, I would think that you would have to, well, doctors, what they do now with people that are, is telemedicine. They actually start. So I first of all, I want to share that nothing that we're saying on this has any weight or should be, considered as definite. We're just really talking about things. So I would definitely talk to your doctor before you decide in any direction you're going to go. But, having said that, I think the most direct way is to call the 911 and ask them for direction.
Yes.
This is what's happening. Should I take my spouse or my loved one to the hospital, or should I, wait for the ambulance? That way the 911 already knows of the situation, and they could support you through that process. They'll know when the ambulance could get there. They'll be in communication. So I think the best all around, action, rather than you calling the hospital, because maybe if they say, well, why don't you meet the ambulance here, or why don't you go, but they'll be networking and they have a contact with the hospital.
Yes, so, absolutely. Yeah, but it was just a thought.
That's a good idea. It's a good idea. But I was trying to think about it, but rather than calling a hospital, you call 911.
Yes,
because 911 has a connection.
Yeah. And see if they have the way to put it through.
Right.
All right. Anyway, that was an aside. Okay. So more about World Stroke Day and worldstrokeday.org and what they're organizing. And again, based on 1 in 4, they have something called Join the Movement on the 29th. And you can go to the website. It'll give you all the tools to this. They're asking people to join the movement and be part of the world's biggest dance chain. Hashtag World Stroke Day, October 29th. And what you do is you work out 4 of your funkiest dance moves. You can be choreography, it can be something silly or whatever. You make a video of yourself. And then as you post it on this hashtag, you tag 3 friends to get them to continue to spread it through. So this is
wow. So we're all going to do that, right?
It's all kind of fun, So
Judy, we're all going to do that, right? Our board?
Yes.
I don't do Twitter, so I can't do that. But I think that it would be fun for a lot of people to do it. So
whoever wants to do it can do it.
You know what? I'll put it up on Facebook. I'll put a link in that I can find to this group.
Okay.
And that's kind of what this World Health Day .org is about, and it's about spreading the information that 1 in 4 people in your lifetime. So if you have a family of 4 people, or you have a circle of 4 friends, you look around the room and you say, one of us could be having a stroke. In my group, I'm the one that had the stroke. So it's again, making people aware, spreading the word, getting it out there. But this is about movement, about exercise and communication.
Yeah. And thank you, Jenny. It's really important just to keep the conversation going, keep it alive. That's what we are for, our motto, I said it before, is, lifting our voices and changing the face of strokes and aphasia locally and around the globe. And also in one of our presses, we put, keeping it on the forefront of the news. Sometimes, most of the time, stroke only becomes popular when someone who is famous suffers a stroke and dies, like Dick Clark, or what's the gentleman from 90210? I forget.
Luke Perry.
Luke
Perry
had a massive stroke and he passed.
Yeah.
And
Michael is still alive, but he had massive, strokes.
Who's that?
Brett Michaels.
Brett Michaels, right.
From poison.
So, yes, so at those moments, like I remember when Luke Perry passed, I did like a spotlight moment to let people know, like, are you listening? Like, he was 50 some years old. He suffered a massive stroke. I mean, we don't know what the details are. I never heard.
No, I don't think they ever released it.
What the story was behind it, but it would be. I think it'd be very enlightening to the stroke world to share what happened, only to help us to learn and to grow, so that we could save other lives. So, Luke Perry family, if you're listening, we'd love to, invite you on to the show to share, to honor Luke Perry, because I said in one of my presses that, he was well known around the world from 90210 and from the other work he did. But I think that this moment in time, with his passing so young from a stroke, could actually keep his name alive, bigger and better, bigger than it ever was, because he could be one of the faces of strokes and why we do what we do. So that's my thoughts on it. So thank you, Ginny, so much. There was
my pleasure.
And just an FYI, someone else was supposed to be on the show today, and we haven't been able to hear from her, and we're really concerned about her. But we actually called Ginny and Alicia like 2 days ago and said, hey, want to come on the show? But I always tell all my board members, you're always welcome to join us, no matter when it is. Just let us know, because you can always pop in.
Right.
So Judy, go ahead.
We're so proud of Suffolk County's only mobile stroke units. Suffolk County residents now have one more reason to look to Stony Brook Medicine for the highest level of care.
Wait, Judy. What was that? What was that, Alicia?
What was that?
Oh, that was my phone.
Oh.
Sorry, I shut it.
Speaking of
It has music with. Yes.
Okay. Judy, why don't you start again so that we can have a clear video of it. But don't worry, Alicia. I believe everything happens for a reason.
A reason. We're so proud of Suffolk County's only mobile stroke units. Suffolk County residents now have one more reason to look to Stony Brook Medicine for the highest level of care. For both ischemic stroke, which is a clot that blocks the flow of blood to the brain, and the hemorrhagic stroke, which is bleeding of the brain. April 2019, Stony Brook Hospital launched Long Island's first mobile stroke unit program, designed to provide specialized life-saving care to people within the critical moments of stroke before even getting to the hospital. This pre-hospital process accelerates the time to making an accurate stroke diagnosis. It allows for time-sensitive stroke therapies to be administered earlier. It allows for transport of stroke patients directly to the most appropriate hospital for the level of care they require the first time. Results will save more lives, have better outcomes through earlier interventions. Each mobile ER with telehealth capacity is a mobile stroke emergency room, allowing physicians to determine if the patient has a blocked vessel or bleeding of the brain. Once determined, they can administer time-sensitive advanced stroke treatments while the person is en route to the nearest comprehensive stroke center hospital. Each Stony Brook Medicine mobile unit is staffed with a crew of first responders, the critical care nurse, the paramedic, the emergency medical technician, and the computed CT technologist. The medicines they have include clot-busting agent TPA, brain imaging equipment, the CT scanner. This mobile unit program is available 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Last April 2019, the first unit stationed at a base station located on the Long Island Expressway at exit 57, and the second unit off the exit of exit 68. These locations were chosen for easy east-west and north-south access. The mobile stroke unit team calls within a 10-mile radius of each base, which includes 40 different communities. Stony Brook Medicine collaborates with over 40 emergency medical service EMS agencies throughout Suffolk County to provide life-saving, time-sensitive care. The thing that you have to remember is call 911 and say, this is a stroke emergency, and they will send out a unit.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. You know, and you know, I'm wondering, like, why, I don't know who would have to, but why other hospitals and states don't follow.
I was wondering that as well.
You know, I mean, it's something
that should catch on all over the United States.
Yeah, I mean,
funding, it might be a funding issue, but it's an important issue. And if towns feel, you know, maybe they have a fundraiser to, you know, fund the stroke mobile in their area for their hospital.
Could be.
Judy, why don't you do your research on finding out how it was?
How it got started.
How it got started, like, and how
what we can do.
And who funded it, you know, so that we could go to other hospitals and ask them, you know, I mean, because we can't go to the hospitals and tell them, like, why they are not doing it if we don't know the specifics behind what it entails to get it done. And you can thank Dominic, and you can thank Dominic Cortellessa for that, because because I would give him ideas and he goes, well, how are we going to do it? Did you do your research? Did you find out? Did you find every single piece of thing that is involved with it? So now it's like, I know. So thank you, Judy. That's awesome. And we're gonna follow up with that.
Yes.
Follow up with that.
I will.
So Alicia, you have the both was very interesting, but this really excited me. It really excited me with Dr. Beculus and Jason, that they have created. I want to just read it. Alicia Moss will be speaking of the Stroke and Brain Aneurysm Center of Long Island, Good Samaritan Hospital Medical Center, and the grand opening of the new outpatient comprehensive center home located in Islip. Is that what it is?
Islip.
Babylon,
Long Island.
I just think, Jim, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what I'm going to do is, while Alicia's talking about that, I'm going to send you a photo, and can you post that photo for me?
Absolutely.
Let me just look for a while Alicia's giving her promo. Alicia, go ahead.
Okay. Well, the Stroke and Brain Aneurysm Center, a Good Samaritan, offers comprehensive neurointerventional treatment and critical care for vascular diseases of the brain, resulting in complete resolution of stroke symptoms and minimally invasive therapies for brain aneurysms for certain patients who have experienced large vessels occlusions, as well as shorter stays for those with brain aneurysms and more. The treatment of brain aneurysms involves performing a, I don't know how to say that, craniotomy and
We lost Alicia.
Alicia, she's lost.
placing a pin at the site of the aneurysm to clip it. And then let me just see where I am on this.
That's okay. Yeah. Like I said, this is something we threw at you, and this is actually new.
Early diagnosis and minimally invasive treatment of some of the most challenging diseases of the spinal cord are done at this hospital. Oops. I'm back.
Are you there? So let's, you know what, Alicia, take
I lost you guys for a minute.
Take your time. Jim, do you have the photo?
Yes, I do.
Okay, put the photo up on the screen so that we could all see it.
Okay. Hold on one sec.
Well,
okay, it's up.
Okay, so this is the photo that that I saw on Facebook, and I saw it on LinkedIn, that just amazed me when I saw it. The outpatient comprehensive facility, and what a gift to have, like a somewhere that people, stroke patients, can go after they've gone through recovery, after they've gone through their rehab, because we all know that stroke is forever. Like you have to stay somehow engaged in it so that you could, take care of yourself. I mean, some patients are less affected by strokes than others. I mean, I have my right side. I mean, of course, it doesn't stop me, and I keep going, and but sometimes I think to myself, like, I have to take care of myself. I gotta take my arm, and I actually know what I need. I actually, need warmth on it, right? I need it to be warm. That's why Florida would be wonderful for me, because I need the warmth to let the muscles relax, and I actually need massages on it. 3 times a week would be really wonderful to have a massage on it.
Do you do that?
No.
You should start doing that.
Yeah, yes. But that's a whole nother thing. Like, it costs money to have all that done, right?
All right, go once a week. It might be covered on your insurance, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know, but aside, I mean, I'm just saying this for others, that it may be covered under my insurance, but how about those that don't have insurance? And how about pre-existing conditions, right? It's my pre-existing condition now, so maybe it's not covered. I'm just saying, I don't know specifically.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then whether it's covered in your insurance or not, you have to pay a copay. So that's another. Oh, there's so many things. So I mean, I would be interested in finding out from Dr. Beculus and Jason, like, actually the details about this comprehension center, like, what actually, because they probably have to have a structure to do it. So I'd be interested in finding out, like, that structure, what exactly are they going to do with it? Like, can somebody that has had a stroke 5 years ago, who's having, like me, who needs, like, I could go to a regular massage person, but I don't think that's covered in my insurance. So if I go into a rehab where they massage your arm, would that be covered? Would that be allowed to happen? So those are my things that come to my brain. But I think this is so wonderful that he created this location. It's absolutely perfect. So Alicia, why don't you do me a favor? Can you start again? Because you were breaking in and out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It happens to be state of the art. It's a state of the art facility that encompasses multiple consultation rooms, examining rooms, and an integrated cellular vascular ultrasound laboratory. And Dr. Bekulis and his multi-staff, they're experts, and they're ready to guide patients and their families through these difficult diagnoses. They explain their options and address any questions they might have. And this model comes to aneurysms, stroke, and several. They're focused on preventing patients.
We lost you again.
Yeah, it's locking up.
That's okay.
I don't know why it's going in and out like that.
That's okay. It's technology. It's technology.
And after finishing, and I'm trying to get to where I was. And we have where it's located. They have a couple of different there as quickly as possible with their team and the members of the stroke and brain aneurysm centers. They're available 24/7 through phone calls and pagers. And the lines of communication remain open at all times. And the team meets frequently to discuss patients' cases. They're pretty amazing.
Yeah. Like I said before, I was an ambassador for Valley Hospital in New Jersey, at Ridgewood Valley Hospital. And I was they had me go to those meetings once a month. And they were so enlightening to me, the operation that it takes to work, like there's a system, and they went over every stroke patient, who was released, who went to rehabilitation. They really, gave the whole outline of the history that happened in that hospital. And it was really, everybody was there. It was the neurologist, the head neurologist, the head nurse, the nurse practitioner, the ambulance leader, the rehabilitation. Everybody, every single piece, the person they answered the phone, like every single piece of the puzzle was there to talk about like how we can better that operation. And to make sure that everything was operating according to plan. It was incredible. It was incredible. I was really honored to be a part of that.
Renee, could I have a second just to review women versus men who have a stroke, what the symptoms are?
Absolutely.
For women, it's face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, vision problems, trouble walking or lack of coordination, severe headache without a known cause, general weakness, disorientation, confusion, memory problems, fatigue, and being nauseous. For men, there's less symptoms, but they are face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, vision problems, trouble walking or lack of coordination, and severe headache without a known cause, which, by the way, is what happened to my dad.
Wow.
Well, when I had my TIA, I was very, I had terrible pain. That's what made me realize that something going on was the pain in my head. It was pretty amazing.
Wow. And how have you been feeling? How have you been following up with your doctor?
Yes, I have been following up my doctor, and I try to eat better. I exercise. I'm doing a lot of the necessary things to do to just not get another TIA.
Yeah. Well, it was to me, it's like a wink. here, this is happening to you. It's, it's like, maybe I should start to, then that you followed your insight, you're listening to what you're supposed to be doing because you don't want it to happen again, and you saved your own life. You saved your own life.
Well, you helped save my life because I was so glad I had gotten involved in this program, and I had found out about you, and caring for one of the shows, I ended up having the TIA, and I knew that I was having a TIA and that I should be rushed to the hospital right away, and which is what I did.
Alicia, can you just go over what your symptoms were for the TIA?
Absolutely. Dizziness, terrible dizziness, pain in my eye, in my right eye. Actually, I couldn't focus. An excruciating headache that woke me up around 3 o'clock in the morning and stayed with me throughout the whole time.
Wow.
Did you take anything for the headache?
Well, as a matter of fact, I did. I got up in the middle of the night. I was in terrible pain, and my husband said, well, take a Motrin, which I did. I usually don't do that unless I eat something, but I was in severe pain in my head. So I got up and I took I took the Motrin, and it didn't help me. I continued with the pain, and I said, I'm going to go back to sleep. Maybe the pain will go away, but it was so unbelievably painful. And I did. I went back to bed, and when I woke up, I was very dizzy. I couldn't focus on my.
I'm sorry, but I just want to share something, Judy, because I know you take notes.
Yes.
Write down that we want to ask a doctor. Maybe Ginny can ask her doctor. It doesn't when you're having a stroke, when you're having a TIA, and you take an aspirin. I think we just went down on the. I gotta
whether it's helpful or not.
Whether it. Hang on one second. Take a look at the Facebook page. I don't see us on the line anymore. Anyway, don't see us online.
You don't see us on?
No. So, anyway, my point is that I want to ask the doctors if you're having a mild or TIA or a stroke and you have a headache, does the aspirin, Motrin, or whatever help? If it doesn't help, like, is there a distinguishing factor? Like, if it would have helped Alicia, should she have continued to see whether she had
I think if it would have helped, I wouldn't have known that anything was different. I just would have.
Yeah, and I don't know if going back to sleep is a good idea.
Or that I had some kind of migraine headache.
I think the issue with aspirin and also the people with heart conditions is that it is a blood thinner. Right. So if there's a clot or something, taking an aspirin, that's why people take baby aspirins on a regimen or something, but taking an aspirin is at the outset of what might be a heart attack or a stroke. If it's a bleed, that's a bad thing. But if it's a clot, then the aspirin, I don't think that Motrin or any of the NSAIDs or anything like that would be helpful other than, maybe trying to contain the pain. But as far as a treatment goes,
I don't think going back to sleep is a good idea either, because if you're having a stroke or if you've got the symptoms of a TIA, going back to sleep, when you wake up, you could be paralyzed. It could be, you're wasting time.
Absolutely. But I just thought it was a really bad, severe headache. I didn't think of anything yet until I started, I couldn't focus in my right eye.
What about your arm? Was your arm?
I had numbing all on my right side of my entire body.
Your face too?
Arms, my hands. Yes, I did. I had, it didn't droop, but it felt like it was numb. Like my face, like under my eye, this whole part of my face felt really numb. And my mouth.
Was your tongue numb? Did your tongue
No,
feel
but
numb?
but my face felt, my lips felt numb, as if they were swollen, as if I was going to have a swelling on my tongue. And that has happened to me in the past. I've had swelling of my lips through allergies. So
Yeah.
I didn't know what was happening until I started getting the double vision, and I felt totally numb on the right side of my body. That's when I knew that this was just not a headache.
And you cannot ignore these signs.
Exactly.
Yesterday, my husband was with a group of gentlemen having breakfast. And one of the people there was talking about he was dizzy. He had numbness in his face, all the way down his arm, a lot of your symptoms. And everybody at the table said, that's a sign of a TIA or a stroke. You should go to the hospital. You should have tests. And his wife told him, just walk around. It'll be all right. And I tried to reach him. My husband tried to reach him on the phone yesterday, and the line was busy the entire time.
Right.
But you don't ignore things like that.
Yeah.
No. But, some people do. Some people just think it'll pass,
Right.
Sometimes it's fear, a spouse denial, as Mark Twain said, denial is not just a river in Egypt. You don't want that person to be sick, or you have a great fear of what can happen, so you just brush it off instead of really taking action on it.
And when you delay, then the symptoms are going to be worse, and the person can become paralyzed. And then it's too late. You're waiting too late. You're losing brain power. You're losing brain cells. You got to act immediately and call 911.
Wow. That's it's so true. We got to call 911. And what else do we have to do, which I keep saying? We have to let the ambulance know. Thank you, Jim. I was afraid that the show wasn't streaming because on my end, I'm not seeing it, and we got to stay connected to the world. So we got to let them know that, the person could be suffering a stroke. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. There's a lot of things that we believe, and one of the things is to let the ambulance know, the 911 that we were talking about before, that it could be a stroke. And Ginny had a great, question to them. If you have someone there that could possibly take you, then maybe you need to ask the ambulance that question. Maybe it'll be faster. Maybe
I don't know if they're going to take it seriously like they will if you come in by ambulance, because you're going to your husband or whoever it is going to have to wait online to give information. You have to stress, this is a stroke situation. Let them figure it out. I mean, you've got all the symptoms of a stroke. Let them figure it out. This is an emergency.
I agree with you on some aspects, Judy. And this is why I was saying before. Now, if you live in the farms 3 hours out of...
Well, that's
right. So you got to wait 3 hours for the ambulance to go there. You got to wait 3 hours for it to come the other way. Just maybe, if you call 911, they can lead you in the right direction. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're only thinking about your situation because you live close to a hospital. And that's what Ginny had said, that she lives close to a hospital, but, you got to think of the whole picture. I mean, maybe these people that live 5, 6, 7 hours in the farms, that you got to wait for an ambulance to get there. No, you could call 911. Maybe they'll call a doctor. The doctor can FaceTime you, and they can determine whether you need to get in the car and go, or maybe the ambulance will meet you outside the hospital. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways but you need I think from this conversation we're having here, I think what I'm learning is that no matter what, the first thing you need to do is call 911 and let them know it's a stroke possibility. That's number one. And let that stroke professional determine what's the next step in sharing with them? Maybe you can say to them, like Ginny said, my husband, or, you know, if her husband's calling, I could bring her. What do you recommend? Can you call the hospital to let them know I'm coming? It could be a stroke. You know, like let that 911 director lead you to what has to be done. Alicia, you drove.
Yes. We just, I didn't do the 911. I called my doctor because
yes.
It was in the height of the pandemic, and I was really afraid to go to the hospital. I was crying. I was so upset that I had to go to a hospital right in the middle of this pandemic. So I called up my doctor, and he insisted you hang up the phone and you immediately go to the hospital. And then that's what I did. Alan took me there, and we went through the emergency room. And once we told them what was happening, the nurse came up, the triage, and I was in, and they took care of me immediately. Like, they didn't let me wait. They just took me into the room and started doing, CAT scans and running.
Right, because your doctor probably called the hospital, right? Your doctor probably called the hospital to let them know, watch, she's coming. So there has to be some sort of connection, like the doctor or 911, where they're saying this is an important situation. I believe you're correct. If you would go walk in, I know that sometimes they're not at the desk, they're taking care of somebody else. What are you going to start screaming? Like, this is a stroke. No, you have to set things up prior. So you called someone, you called your doctor, and they probably already called the hospital, to let them know that you were coming in. And then, Ginny, you what you're talking about, it was a great thought, but my thing is, like, call 911.
Yeah.
Or your doctor.
Literally, we are probably 7 minutes from LIJ.
Right. So it'll take 7 minutes to get here, 7 minutes to get back. So
yeah. But you said something that is a very good idea. If you live a distance from a hospital, is that an ambulance could meet you partway there. Yeah. If there is a major highway, you get halfway there, get them in the ambulance, and instead of out and back. So that's a very good point.
Right. And what we're definitely saying is to call your doctor or call 911. Yeah. And personally, I think your doctor would tell you to call 911 to start the.
I'm sorry, but a lot of times you can't get a hold of your doctor. You don't have a direct line. There's no way I can get her. Dr. Libman, just because we've done a lot of other communications, I do have a way to contact him.
Right.
I would not want to abuse that.
Yes.
Number.
So call 911.
Yeah.
Start the process.
Time is of the essence. Every minute you lose could be brain power you're losing.
Yeah, I agree. So believe it or not, we've been on for an hour. It's really been a wonderful conversation because, it's 3 important topics. The World Stroke Day, which happens on October 29th. We always say this, but I'm going to read it from the American Stroke Association, their verbiage. Strokes don't discriminate. A stroke can affect anyone at any age. We say that all the time. Ginny, you said about 1 in 4 people worldwide will have a stroke in his or her lifetime. Really, really, really important statistics.
That's a slap in the face. That's a wake up.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It really is.
Wake up. And that's why I'm so passionate. I know everyone on the board is really passionate about keeping in the forefront of the news strokes and aphasia. Before you find out that you're suffering a stroke, you need to know the signs and really the details, and you need to live a healthier life so that you're preventing the effects of a stroke. Because if 1 in 4 people are going to have a stroke, you need to know how to prevent the after effects of a stroke. And that's, really the key. And while I'm thinking about it, I know Dr. Beculus and Dr. Libman, is that your doctor's name? they both had stated on both our shows that if the same thing that Alicia said, that if you're having a stroke, go to the hospital. The hospitals are the safest place in the world to be during this pandemic. The safest place. Because the pandemic was losing people, it had nothing to do with the way the hospitals were operating. As a matter of fact, and I'm unsure of the statistic, and maybe someone on the board can find that out, but how many people that work in the hospitals caught the disease from working in the hospital?
Yeah.
I think the numbers are very low. No, I think they're very, I think
Low? Yeah.
I think they're very low because they knew how to protect themselves. They put that gear on, they put the face mask, they changed their gloves. They would do so many things operationally before. And I know my daughter works in the hospital, and or Michelle works in the hospital. And like she'd say, like every time you go in and out of a patient's room, you'd have to go through this whole procedure. They make you change your whole cover up before, because they don't want you cross-contaminated.
Carrying it.
Yeah. I think once it started to really bloom, I think in the very beginning, I think that's when the problems might have happened. But as soon as everybody saw what was going on, but yeah, Dr. Libman was very specific about if you come in, everything, they're all isolated.
Yes.
There is no cross-contamination of the emergency room. Do not be afraid to go in there. You're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
They've done a marvelous job of isolating all of that.
And that's why the people are honoring the people on the front lines. And the people on the front lines are not only the doctors and nurses and admins at the hospitals, but they're also the Amazon drivers, and they're also the what's it called, the people that work in the stores. We had to get our food. I mean, those are all the people, and the people that drive the trucks. Like there was a lot of people on the front line that
Critical services
that really did their work. So one more thing before we go, and this is on the American Stroke Association as well. To prevent strokes, it's vital to understand your risk factors. Some risk factors, such as age, race, gender, family history, are outside of your control, but you can control the other risk factors. And you can also control the what you do when you have a stroke, like Alicia did. You take it into your own hands, and we're going to definitely end the show by saying that we recommend, and of course you should ask your doctor this and ask your professionals this, but if something's happening in your home or at work or your family or friends or whatever, call 911 immediately and let them lead the way in what you should do and where you should go. So thank you so much for being a part of today's show. It was really an interesting conversation. So thank you so much for joining us today. Our next show is on November 8th, I believe. November 8th.
Yes.
And that's when we're doing
And we've got Dennis Sheehan on the 9 o'clock show. He has aphasia. And Nate Moran is going to be on the 10 o'clock show.
And that's what date, Judy? November what?
November 8th.
November 8th. All right, I'll be there for that.
November 8th. And we could get other board members. How about Bobby and Kathy for the Dennis show? Because that's going to be very interesting. He is such a character, and he was on one of our support groups. So we can't wait for him to be the face of the aphasia. And maybe we'll get Stacy as well. Because
Judy, quickly, do you have the date that Catherine Surzan is going to be?
Yes, it's Sunday, November 22nd.
November 22nd.
Charlotte is on the 9 o'clock show because I want to give her enough time to tell her story. And Catherine is on the 10 o'clock show because, again, I want them to have sufficient time to say everything they want to say.
And Nate on the November 8th is at the 10 o'clock show?
Nate is November 8th, 10 o'clock.
Okay, good.
and
You want me to go over it one more time?
Nope, I got it.
pencil in the December 6th, Judy.
Holiday show.
Oh,
Holiday show. Music time. Alicia.
I love
music time. Get your gear out in your house to perform. Jim, we're going to try to do this live.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
What's that?
Yes. Yes.
So we're good? Thank you, everyone, for joining.
I said my
Honored
Christmas
to
out.
come into your home.
Thank you.
Your lives. And on 3, we always blow kisses and be kind to one another and love each other and love each other through it. That's our motto. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody.
God bless you all.
Love you.
Love you back.
Mi amor, yo no entiendo por qué tú más que nadie sabes qué pasó en mi vida. Yo no sé qué tú piensas, yo no sé lo que haré, yo no sé lo que estoy perdiendo, yo no sé lo que va a pasar. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti, no me puedes oír llorar. El día que caminaste por la puerta, todas las memorias fueron. Mi corazón está vacío, como si tuviera ayer. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. Mi corazón está sufriendo. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar. Usted está en mi sueño por la noche. Por favor, no peleemos. Y es tan difícil para mí y para ti. Dios, ¿qué puedo hacer? No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. Mi corazón está sufriendo. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar. No me puedes escuchar solo sin ti. Mi corazón está sufriendo. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes